What's up, everyone? All right, in today's episode, I'm going to give you my watch list for Monday morning and the game plan for the week ahead. This will be our first full week for the month of September. For those of you guys who missed our Labor Day sales, we have a 2-week trial going on right now. The link is pinned to the top of the comments and in the description where you guys can join. It's a 2-week trial for $20. That will give you access to my live broadcast, our day train chat room, plus the software that I use every single day. This software right here for scanning, charting, and our news feed. Now, the month of September got off to a relatively slow start last week. And this shouldn't be a surprise because as it turned out, August was my slowest month of the entire year. Now, you'll notice on my, you can see it. I've got some affirmations here on my screen and sticky notes just to remind me, Monday to take it slow. So the first one says, no, you're not balding. Those people are wrong when they said that, right? Just kind of like boost myself up. And then reminder, you do look good this morning. Again, it doesn't hurt. And then the third one is, this outfit you're wearing is fire. Now the fourth one is, remember, small size right now. August was the off season. September, maybe it's a little continuation of the off season. Here's the tricky thing when it comes to trading, and I'll show you my metrics. This is actually 10 years of trading data right here. So let's go. We're going to do just month. Let's see. What are we going to look at? So we're just going to look at performance by month right here. So for the month of September, no, we're doing based on year. So we're going way back here. So in 2016, I don't know, nothing really a whole lot to say. I was green every month of the year. As it turned out, the slowest month was February, and May was pretty slow as well. 2017, was in the middle of a small account challenge, had a red month in April and another red month in September, but October and then November and December, things picked up a lot. 2018, red in February, August and September were slow. 2019, red in March, red in October, right? I mean, you could see it's kind of, you could say there's some predictability here, but it's sort of, the most predictable thing is that there are periodic slow months while most months are pretty strong. And the months that are slow, sometimes it's February or March, as you can see here. Sometimes it's August, September, but, not always. It's a little inconsistent. So this year, March did end up being slower, although, why was it slower? Just because it was March? No, it was slower because of all the stuff going on with the tariffs, right? That was the external catalyst that pushed the market lower and made trading more difficult in March. So, what was the catalyst in August that made things slower? There wasn't a particular catalyst other than the crypto headlines kind of stopped working, and we saw that there were some traders who had inside knowledge of news headlines that were going to come out, and they were trading on them in advance of that news coming out. And so that's insider trading. And when you see it in a really prominent way, as we did in August, it makes traders feel like they can't really trust news headlines. So because I'm a trader who focuses primarily on trading breaking news, when I feel like I can't trust news, that's a problem. So August was slow. Now, as much as I was hoping that September we could just, come out, firing on all cylinders, it takes a little time for the market to heat back up. So now here we are, it's the month of September, and I've already locked up 2 red days. All right, so that's not great. Tuesday was good, Wednesday was slow, Thursday was bad, and Friday was, negligible. So I'm down $1,400 to start the month. I was looking back. I actually have a slide deck here. Let's see, where is this? I just was highlighting some screenshots from some of my trades from earlier in the year, and I use them in the classes and things like that. These are just some incredible days. But $235,000 in one day, $156,000 in one day. These are unreal days. It was like the market was just so strong and there was so much liquidity. You could buy and sell big positions. And so, being down $1,400 over the course of, 4 days, it's definitely nothing to get bent out of shape over. I know when the market heats back up, there'll be no problem, making $1,400. That's not the issue. It's just a question of how long is it going to be slow before it picks back up? And some observations to make. So if I look at my detailed metrics, year to date, so we're just going to go over here, going to go year to date. So year to date, let's see, over $5 million of profit, which is phenomenal. 71% accuracy. Average winners are $3,000. Average losers are $1,600. Okay. Now let's just look. Let's look at just the last 7 days, just for perspective. Accuracy 71%. Fantastic. Okay. So, but wait a second. I'm only at $1,400. What's going on? My average winners are $1,000. So they're 70% lower than they've been. So I'm not getting big winners. And my losers are twice as big. So what's happened there? Well, I had a couple trades this week where I got stubborn, last week where I got stubborn. And I should have not sized up so much. I should have sold sooner, but I got frustrated. I got stubborn. And my biggest loss was $23,000. Well, my biggest winner was only $7,000. So obviously that's not going to be very sustainable. We look back 30 days through the whole month of August, and you can see that the average winners are 50% lower than they were from January through July, and the average losers were a little bit larger. Now, the accuracy was still good, and I did make $100,000, but the fact that my winners were small was the problem. So basically, what these metrics are telling me is that I'm showing up every single day, and although they don't say it like directly, I'm showing up looking my best. That I can tell you for sure. I know it doesn't appear that way in the metrics, but it is a fact. So I'm showing up feeling good, looking good, but the winners are tiny. So what's going on? Accuracy is good. It's just that every trade I'm taking, instead of going up like 20%, goes up only 10%. So what's the deal? There's just not as much momentum in the market. And, some of the losses have gotten a little bigger than they should have, which is partly due to frustration that, the winning trades aren't working out the way they should. So what do I need to do for the month ahead or for the week ahead? Well, for the week ahead and probably for the whole month ahead, I really do need to focus on building that cushion. Now, this would have been a much better week if I hadn't gotten stubborn with that one single trade where I lost $23,000 on Thursday. That ruined my week. One trade. One momentary lapse of judgment, I got frustrated, and boom, that hurt pretty badly. So I really need to stay on my game. And right now, I think getting a little extra rest is necessary because I was noticing I was yawning a lot. I was like really tired on Thursday and again on Friday. I was just, I don't know, I didn't sleep well or something. So, that's something I got to pay attention to because, when you're tired and you're not as well rested, impulse control can be a little bit lower. And so I need to get my rest right now. And I guess I do need to think of this a little bit as being in the off season. Now, the fact is we can go from the off season to game day, with a flip of a switch practically within a couple of days. If we have a stock that makes a 2,000% move, next thing you know, all these traders are coming off the sidelines looking for the next one. So it can change quickly. But in the meantime, while it's slow, I just need to ease off a little bit. So, this isn't the time to really, to be honest, it's not the time to dig deep. It's not the time to, pull out all the stops and be super aggressive. It's the time, if anything, to, show up, get your experience, trade, but not overtrade, not overstay your welcome. Just get in and get out. So I think my goal for this week is, I'm of course going to show up every day at 7 a.m. and then be done at 10 a.m. probably, do my recap, unless something's really strong and I'll keep trading longer. But generally, I don't think that's going to be the case. So even if I missed a good move this week coming up, the amount I would make is sort of negligible because I'm not trading with full size right now. This market hasn't called for it. So it's extremely unlikely, like a 1% chance of me having a record-breaking day in the next week or two. Me having a record-breaking day could have happened back in June and July when the market was super, super hot and I was hitting back-to-back huge green days. It was like any one of these could be the perfect combination that could give me, $1 million in one day. It didn't happen, but it could have. But this market that we're in right now, that's not going to happen. So the total upside reward is going to be somewhat limited. So I think it is a good time to, limit the time I'm going to spend in the market, get a little extra rest, do some of the things that help me recharge. So when the market does heat back up, I'm ready to come back, fully charged up and, ready to perform at my peak. So with all that said, at this point, what did we have that worked well on Friday? Well, obviously, from my perspective, being down $356, nothing really worked super well on Friday. I mean, I didn't make good money. Having said that, there were some stocks that moved nicely, including Hour. So you got a nice move on Hour. This, however, 205 million shares of volume, very thickly traded. It was not easy. So, I just kind of felt like, these stocks, there's kind of a sweet spot. I do well with more volume. If there's not enough volume, there's not going to be liquidity to get in and out. But then there's a tipping point where there's so much volume that traders are fighting and competing just to make like 1 penny per share, especially on lower price stocks. And when that's the case, they're too congested and you don't get big quick moves. So unfortunately, that kind of happened on Hour. It also happened on PRSO. So being in early in the move, is definitely better than trying to trade it when it's a little later. So this one, the early part was after hours and like 4 a.m. And then this move here, it was already quite crowded. So that just wasn't a great one for me. NVFY, 20 million shares of volume, but you look at the chart and you can see that it really wasn't very clean, just sort of slow action. PAPL, Pineapple Financial, made that surprising move kind of out of nowhere from 450 to 850. This was the stock that I made the most on Friday. If it can break one of these days over 950 or 10, we could have another nice move like up to 15 or 20. But until then, it needs a catalyst to give us that move. The headline on Friday was closes a $100 million private placement to initiate injective digital treasury strategy. Anyways, so yeah, it's just continuation of this crypto catalyst stuff. And I suppose on the note of crypto, a possible, there's some things that we've kind of got going for us going into the fall. One is possible interest rate cut, or multiple interest rate cuts. That would obviously reduce the cost of borrowing money, which could stimulate a number of different areas of the economy and the market. So interest rate cut is definitely a potential. And, any potential volatility in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at large, but certainly led by Bitcoin, could also stimulate some momentum in the small cap names. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. Now, usually on Sunday, what I do is I look at the top gainers from Friday to see if there's anything I'd like for continuation. And so the first, we've already looked at the top gainers scanner, but I also want to just briefly check our after hours top gainers scanner. Where is it? Right here. Just to see if there was anything that did start moving in the after hour session. And I just want to take a screenshot of this. I'm just going to save this here. All right, so maybe I'll email this out to customers at Warrior Trading. So let's see. I'm just going to drop that in my chat here. All right, here you go. So, all right. So anyways, top gainers after hours, PT. Oh, I've got to link it up. Sorry. So PT, AC, RV, PT. That's funny. Sort of just really spiked up there. What time was that? It's a 14 million share float. Average daily volume has been like 10,000 shares, and then all of a sudden, boom, up to 140. But it's at a price range where I think it's going to be crowded. ACRV, this is 15 million share float. RAPP, 15 as well. Ford, not to be confused with Ford Motor Company, but it is a lower float stock. Forward Industries. I'm a little skeptical. At $20, it's going to be tricky. Very light volume. Yeah, and then just a couple others moving a little bit higher. All right, so I don't think there's really anything there I'm super excited about for Monday. We're going to look at, let's see, recent reverse splits and see if there was anything from the first week of the new month that we should pay attention to. I'm just going to move this down here as well. All right, I'll just squish this up. So let's see. So looking at the split date, 9/5. CNF. See, it's interesting because this one actually popped up right there. 52 million share float. LCID, don't like that one. This one's known for just selling off more and more and more. EVTV, that one's a little older. Looking for splits ideally from September. Oh, was there one in there? No. Yeah, so most of these are August reverse splits. There was one right there, note. So it's been beaten up, has room up to $10. I do like these beaten up stocks. They can work really well, but they need a catalyst. Look at the float on this. This one is a Chinese stock, 150,000 share float. I mean, it's kind of, doesn't even really make sense if that's the float. That means the market cap on this, 150,000 shares times $2 a share. It's like a $300,000 market cap. I mean, that doesn't really make sense, and it's probably not accurate because it's a Chinese company, to be honest, just because they sometimes do things that are a little shady. I don't know about this one particularly, but I'd be a little skeptical about that. So here's the thing. As a test, what would happen if you tried to buy 150,000 shares tomorrow, let's just say? And if you filled the whole 150,000 shares right at 215 with zero slippage, then that feels like such a scam because clearly there's a lot more shares available than 154,000. And, you know, this is, you'd have to get into the filings and look a little deeper into it. But these stocks, they just, it's just something about them. So, yeah, we did have some really good momentum. You know, we've had times where, Chinese names have worked well, but as of late, they've not been trustworthy. And there's been more of a crackdown on kind of getting them off the market because they're really taking advantage of U.S. investors. Recent IPO stocks top moving. ETS, cheaper. It's kind of remarkable that you could IPO and sell off that much. TTH, Japanese, another sell-off. I mean, look at these daily charts down here. You're seeing how they just IPO and then just sell. This one holding up a little bit better. Okay, so there's a couple, but yeah, it's interesting stuff. See, I'm not in love with any of these. So I feel like the market's a little bit too cold right now to put together like a really solid watch list based on daily charts or anything like that. You know, looking at some of the stocks that made big moves last week, THAR, could you get a daily setup? Maybe. IPND, was this one it? This, could you get a daily setup? Maybe. You know, so there'll be some stocks that if they hit the scanner, I'm going to be, you know, picking that up quickly, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. Newegg, kind of interesting. This rally up to 140 and then the sell-off all the way down to like $30. That's just unbelievable. That volatility is crazy. But anyways, yeah, not trading that one. It's a little too expensive. So, all right. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to sit down at 7 a.m. And at that point, I'm going to start putting together my watch list, you know, right for Monday morning based on the scanners. And then I'm going to be watching breaking news, 7, 7:30, 8, 8:39. And hopefully I can build a little bit of a cushion and start to get this month pointed in the right direction. So those of you guys who haven't already checked out the 2-week trial, 2 weeks for $20, you're going to get a lot of value out of it. So if you've got nothing going on the next 2 weeks in the morning, then check out the trial. I think you'll really have a great time, and I'll see you streaming first thing tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. And reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk and take it slow, and I'll see you guys in the morning.